Good morning, hotel here in Arizona, and we wanna roll today on the challenge. We wanna go deep into this weekend because how you use the weekend. This is an odd weekend for me because I'm streaming for you, and I'm also in Arizona working on our marriage and also working with entrepreneurial couples. And so, Fadi, I don't know if the other visual screen of me still has the old screen on it. I don't know if you want to auto populate it with me in case that's streaming somewhere. That would be great because I see the slide up. Okay, great. So weekends are big. Okay, we've gone a couple weeks now around the revenue challenge. And if you've been a part of all 14 days, well, we're not quite at 14 days, right? Because that goes into tomorrow. But if you've been tuned in working for the last 14 days or 10 days or 11 days or 12 days, tell me how many of you guys have seen. So go in the chat. Have you seen 5, 6, 10, all of them? Like where all of them? Sandra's like all of them every day. Wow, lots of you guys have seen all of them. That's not normal, by the way. That is wildly committed. That is not normal. Wow, many of you guys, all of them, watched all of them. Okay, so you guys who are afraid to share with us, how many have only watched a couple? Because we have some wildly committed people. That's crazy. Wow, all of them. So good. Missed a couple of them. Missed like 4, all of them. Okay, a couple of them. Okay. So how I deal with my weekends are they set up my whole next week. And so if you guys are okay with this, I made some notes on what we're going to work on today, and it's how do I set up my weekend so that next week is not only profitable, but it's also productive. So mind my background. I'm in a hotel right now. It's not my beautiful background, but I'm in a hotel right now, and I have like a makeshift lighting system. Look at this. So we have these little lighting systems that we travel with, and they help a lot fit in our suitcase so that we can keep giving as we're on the road imperfectly to be able to create the movement that we want. Okay, so the weekend matters because I don't just disconnect for the weekend, because see, your ambition, the things that you want to create in your life, they require you to be connected to them all the time. And I know that there's a lot of advice out there, my friends. There's a lot of advice out there that says, oh, you've done enough, just kick back. And yesterday I talked a little bit about average, right? And so you must, well, let me even go back even further. In the challenge, I talked about if you're going to increase your cash flow in your life, which is important. So cash flow, being rich, none of that is a dirty word, okay? So because we don't get to want money but shame it at the same time. Okay, so the revenue challenge is just that. It's about creating revenue. That's the topic we're on. We're not on the topic of parenting or like your love life. We're talking about money. So the average world will tell you, the people getting average results will say words like you've done enough. It's good enough. You've accomplished more than you've ever accomplished before, so that's good enough. When you hear these words either out of your mouth or somebody else's mouth, I need you to 86 them and go even more all in. Okay? And there's a reason for this. The world will keep you broke, and many of your family members will too. Okay, so I was sharing this with Ash this morning. We were talking about just the growth of Heartcore, and I was saying, and some of you guys might know this story, but I literally worked for a company for 6 months for free. And I've been sharing this a lot lately, probably because people need to hear it. I don't care where I sit on the org chart. I don't care what my title is. I am not in any of those small conversations. And I especially don't care if I've done good enough. What I care about is whatever I'm creating. And the reason why I highly recommend that you look at your year-long goal and cut it into 6 months is because it cuts out all the average. It cuts out all the average, and it does something. It pulls you up. Even if you're like, oh my God, that scares me. It's okay. That kind of scare has you get rid of all the stuff that you're trying to pay a lot of people to figure out how to get you focused. Do you hear what I'm saying? So the reason why you might let yourself down is because you got too much slack in your life. You got too much slack in your life. So almost every day, not every day, but almost every day, I write down my goals. Almost every day. So I have a big, huge, audacious goal that I want to hit by the time I'm 50. I see that runway coming. You know, I have a big, audacious goal that I want to do in my personal life before I'm 50, but I have this major goal that I want to hit before I'm 50. And so when I look at my next week goals, I've got this goal kind of looming over my head because it's coming. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Now, as I look at my next week, I cannot operate off a to-do list. I effing hate to-do lists. Do you know what I have? I have a priority list. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself, what is the goal you're going after really? Like my 50 goal is like, wow, I wonder what I'm going to do after that. Because it's so big, I'm just proud of myself that I'm willing to have that goal. Okay, so do you have one of those right now? Some people call it a moonshot. I could never use the word moonshot because that never motivated me because I felt like, oh, I'll never hit a moonshot. So work with yourself. Okay, work with your own mindset, your belief systems. If you're going to be a leader, you got to know where your breakdowns are and solve them. So I know I can't use the word moonshot because of the fact that literally I just won't even get myself up to the plate. Is that helpful for anyone? Because I know sometimes maybe you've been taught goal setting and you're like, I can't get behind that because you've already taken yourself out of the game. But what you can do is look at what would be a life goal that if you hit it in the next couple years, it would be huge. Like in the next 3 to 4 years, it would be huge if you hit this goal in your life. That's my 50 goal. Okay. And then ask yourself, what if you looked at this year and you looked back on this year and you're at the end of this year, what would be the goal, that, like the real main goal? If you hit this one thing, it would make everything amazing. For me, it would honestly be having another baby. You know, I'm in my mid 40s. I want to have another baby. I have a baby on ice. I have an embryo on ice. And some of you guys know I've been working at this for 5 years. Okay, I just had a friend in her mid 40s get pregnant accidentally. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. She's like, no, that's not amazing. Right. And I'm like, that's amazing. You're like my light because you're like right here next to me. I love this. Right. And so, but you know what the doctors say? You know, the doctors have been saying since I was 36, 37, I was too old to have babies, but yet I still had Zach. So you got to shut out average. You're not going for the average statistics. You're going for your game. Okay. You're going for what's important to you. So when you look at this year, what would that look like? I have my entire year broken up into 5 major focuses. Here, babe. 5 major focuses. So there's 5 things that I will work on to be able to hit my annual goal in my business. Okay, so what that might look like, I wish I had my one sheet with me, but what that might look like is I have my annual goal of what I want to create. What is the result? So it could be a money goal, it could be an impact goal, it could be whatever, right? And I have that. Now I know what I'm going to do with that money. I'm going to fund a certain amount to the church. I'm going to fund a certain amount to nonprofits. I'm going to give a certain amount to our staff at Hardcore Business, into cryptocurrency accounts. You know, so I've got a purpose for that money. Do you hear what I mean? Some of it's going to go into like stuff for Ash and I, and some of it's going to go inside the business for next year. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a reason to make that amount of money. If you don't have a reason, I'm going to tell you if it's like, oh, I just want to make $100,000 or, oh, I just want to make $1 million. Or if you don't have a reason for that money to go somewhere, it doesn't work. We've been teaching this probably for about 4 months now, 5 months now. You got to have a purpose to your money. Do not ignore that. Okay. I know you guys are all smart. You've been studying for a while. You've been listening to some of these things, but you don't know it unless you do it. Okay, so do the work. It might take you 5 minutes today, 10 minutes today to go, what is the purpose of me earning this income? And it better be important enough for you. So I never necessarily want to retire, but I absolutely want to have enough money that if I needed to retire because life created some sort of circumstance, that I'm good. So that means that while I'm in earning years, that I got high energy. Like I'm meeting with a friend today who is 51 years old, and he's technically retired. He doesn't have to ever work again in his entire life, and he sits on the boards and takes companies public. And that's what he does. That's kind of, it's actually more of a give back, but he obviously makes good money doing it, but it's a give back. He doesn't have to earn income anymore because he did his goal setting right. Many of you guys are giving yourself way too much time to succeed. And you're not accounting for hard times that are going to happen. Ash, how many times do I say we got a runway, we got a runway, we got a runway? Every 15 minutes. I say it constantly. We got a runway in front of us. We got a runway. What am I doing? I am getting myself up to not get caught in the emotions of every time something breaks. If I get caught in the emotions, it will steal my time. And I don't feel like I have more time. Thankfully, because I built the game in my head to not feel like I have more time. When someone says to me, "Oh, honey, you're still young," I'm like, be quiet. I don't want that coaching. I don't want that coaching. I want the coaching that I'm out of time. I want the coaching that it's time to show up. Like I look at people on our team like Gunnar, I look at, he's our marketing assistant. And I look at Gunnar and I see this person that is so talented. I'm like, God, if I had your time. So I messaged him this morning, what's your personal and your career goal? Right? It's like everybody around you, if you can work the system where you actually first take care of you, put the mask over you so you start operating like this, and you're clear about what you're doing this year, and you're clear that you're going to hit it in half a year. So if it takes you a month or a month and a half longer than half a year, it's okay. But you go after it like the deadline is half a year. You don't give yourself a full year. But then the next thing you need to do is you need to build up. You know, in our leadership program, there's something called a torchbearer, which one of our old clients who left our community and came back we got the message yesterday, she's the torchbearer. It means that she hit a major audacious goal in 3 months. I was just sharing before we went live. One woman messaged me today, Bonnie, who said I dropped 30 pounds in 3 months in our leadership program. That's a big audacious goal, right? This other person, Kelly, who reached out, who's a torchbearer, she had to hit a big audacious goal, but she also had to build up the team around her because they vote on the torchbearer, which means that if you think about this from a leadership perspective, this is not just me, you know, I don't need to sit here and just tell you how to build goals. I need to show you how to be a leader so that the goals don't fall apart. You must build up the people around you. And so you might be saying, oh, I got a husband or a wife that's so not ambitious. I got a sister or brother that just drives me nuts. I got, you know, a virtual assistant that is so negative. They're always talking about realistic this, logic this. If you're doing that, you're screwed. You probably need to get somebody else to be the CEO if you're talking about logic, or you need to adjust that in your thinking. Even you analyzers. You cannot talk about logic goals. That's why your year-long goal gets hit in half a year. And when you operate like that, you get rid of the fluff in your life. But you must build people up around you. And so first start with the people that you believe in the most, because they'll be the easiest ones to build up. And when they catch fire like you catch fire, then you've built an ecosystem around you to succeed. Do you hear what I'm saying, my friends? You cannot succeed alone. You cannot. You need to build the atmosphere in your mind, and then you must build the atmosphere around you. So I have wall-size Post-its up all over my house. And the wall-size Post-its remind me of what I'm working on that month. So here's what I've showed you so far. I look at my year-long goal. I cut it in half. I start to look at the people around me that I could easiestly motivate or build up, AKA, I believe in them the most. I believe in them the most. Okay. And those are the people, once I get my stability under me, I start to look at my ecosystem, and the people that I reach out to are the ones I believe in the most. They cause me the least amount of brain damage, and I actually think that they're going to succeed fast. So I start pouring into them. And as I pour into them, I start to notice who they can pour into. And then I start to trigger them pouring into other people. So now I'm carrying the weight of the world amongst many shoulders. Do you see what I'm saying? You must start thinking like this. So who do you know in your life right now that you could build up, that if you poured a little bit more attention into or love into, text message them, voice message them, called them a couple times a month, that they would start to lift? I'm telling you, they'll lift you too. Because when your hard day comes, when you want to curl up in the middle of the floor of a hotel room in the fetal position because you feel defeated, that person's going to come around, or those people, those 2 or 3 people are going to come around, and they're going to believe in you. And you're going to get off that ground because they're going to remind you of who you are, which is an extraordinary leader. Do you hear what I'm saying? Yes? If you don't build the game like that, you are building a risky game. You're building a risky game because there's nobody to catch you. Some of you guys need to hear that. I'm going to repeat that. Some of you guys are so strong, there is nobody to catch you. That is a strategy break. You broke the strategy. If you were to just do it, I'm going to move on from this. If you were to just do what I just shared with you, you will build your ecosystem. Listen, you cannot complain that you have nobody around you to build you up. You led this game called your life. You can change that very quickly. Doesn't even have to be somebody around you that you've known for a long time. Who do you believe in that you need to call today so that you can start building them up? And I trust me, they will be there to catch you when you forget who you are. Okay? Now, how do I fundamentally work with my weekend? I literally create a priority list. And my priority list is done every Saturday or Sunday, a lot of times on Sunday. So if you want to get ahead, you can do it now. So look at next week. Where are you having fun? Because you better schedule that in first, because I know most of you guys will take that. You'll be last. Where are you having fun? And how are you making money? So a lot of times I will tell you, like, just something I've noticed from coaching and being a business coach is that a lot of times people are working on the thing that's going to make the money later. And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That can be on your priority list next week. But how are you generating money next week? Okay. How are you having fun? And how are you generating money next week? So now I can already hear some of you guys who have a full-time job and you're building businesses or side hustles. You have a partner that's really challenging and you just had a kid, or you're taking care of your kid's kid. You hear what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot. And so the fact that you even make it through the week is a miracle in itself and still have a smile on your face. Well, if you complain about that, then guess what? Nobody trusts you. So if you go try to generate income from that positioning, your positioning is what you speak. So every time you speak, you give away your positioning. In other words, you tell people how to treat you. Do you want to be loved? Do you want to be respected? Do you want to be cherished? Do you want to be seen? Change your dialogue. Okay, the reason why people trust you is because you can handle it. And that doesn't mean do it all yourself. Okay, so I had to unhook from martyr. I was a massive martyr. Do you know why I was a martyr? I did everything myself. And then I told everybody everything I did, and that's why I dropped balls. That's called a martyr. And it was a very good friend of mine from Orange County who said to me, do you realize how much of a martyr you are? And thank God I didn't defend. I heard her. And I was like, can you explain to me what a martyr is? So I'm really clear, because I feel like there's something important here. And she's like, yeah. And she explained it to me. And I was 100% a martyr. And that was the source of so much of my dis-ease in my life. Where I felt disheartened, where I felt not good enough, all of that came down from being a martyr. Okay, so she changed everything, and everything changed that moment because I just never saw it. I just put my head down and I did everything because I didn't see another way. And I know there's some of you guys who feel that way. So there is portion that you have to hold a lot, but when you're holding too much, it means it's time for a leadership game. And that is not delegation. I hate delegation. Here's why I hate delegation. It means it's still on me. Somebody's coming back to me. You know what I love? Mentorship. I love to be your mentor. I love to mentor other people. Why? Because it's building other capable leaders up. That's how you change the world. So if you get your identity on how much you do, which I did for many, many years, that's how I got love, is I did more. If you get your identity off that, then this training today could be your change. It could be your tipping point. Okay. If you could just let that in and not make all the things on your to-do list, right? Like you have to do them all. It might take you stretching where it's hard for the next couple weeks, but honestly, most people can be trained within 2 weeks. So have you designed a training plan for somebody or something in your life, including your kids? When my son was 3 years old in Montessori, I was shocked what he did. When he was at home, he did not do that. I had to go into his school. Do you know my son was squeezing his own orange juice at 4 years old? His teachers held him high. Who do you need to hold high in your life? Forget about delegation, like, I just need to get this on my plate. Who do you need to hold high in your life? And what do you need to mentor them? Right? Over the next week or 2 weeks, so that that portion can be shared, that responsibility, that important task, the thing that needs to be done can be shared. That's how you need to start thinking so that you create more. When someone tells me they're tapped, I don't give them more. I actually start taking things off their plate, and then I think about replacing them. That when someone, I was talking about like in my company, when someone is in that spot, I'm like, oh shit. Because unless they came to me with the plan on who they're mentoring, I've got a leadership cap, which means if I keep growing, I'm going to have to go back into that spot, even if I give them delegation, because eventually delegation will trap them. You know what I'm saying? Get it? So you need to lead like this. And when you lead like this, the game changes. I'll even go into the weeds and show you when I trained my accounting department years ago, how to deal with someone who wanted to cancel an agreement. How many of you guys hate that? Somebody buys from you and then they want to back out of their commitment. Yes or no? Who's ever had that? Yes or no? Okay, so go in the chat, tell me yes or no if you've ever had that. So it's disheartening, but it's also out of integrity. Right? The person has an integrity issue and they also have a commitment issue. But then you have to drop into empathy, because if you battle that person, you've got to fight. Okay? And so that's what collections looks like. That's what lawsuits look like. It's like, I'm not going to solve the problem. I'm going to fight it out and see who's right. So that doesn't really work so well. Somebody always loses. When you shift the problems into empathy, like this is what it is. Somebody's got an integrity issue. They got a commitment issue. From a commitment issue, I can relate. Have you guys ever had a moment where you like backed off your commitments and didn't keep them? Yes. So now you can get into empathy. So how you deal with a problem from empathy means you'll get a solution. Some of you guys are going to need to re-listen to this, but this is like incredible coaching if you can get this. So in my accounting department, dealing with someone out of integrity and with a commitment issue, I would say, send me the emails that Melissa sent you or anybody, right? So Melissa Moss, I know you wouldn't do this, but like, because you'd step up, you'd probably say the right way to handle is, Shanda, how do I keep my commitment? I don't see how to do this. I'm struggling financially, but I know there's a way. That person is open. They will have a breakthrough. They will learn something that will have them never ever be short of reaching their financial like success, right? The person who backs out keeps that, they keep that belief system, pattern, and leadership, and keep replicating that everywhere. Touch their relationships, they'll touch everything. Everything falls apart for them. And then they're martyr. They go into martyr. My life doesn't work. This person, so we work with accounting to how do you get somebody through empathy into being open? And so I'd say, send me their emails, and they'd send me the emails and I would respond. Do you know it takes me 3 days of being stretched a little bit, like a bit of a pain in the ass, having something extra on my plate, but it takes me 3 days and probably 3 or 4 emails that come in, maybe even just one. I respond to it. For 3 days, I respond to them, to my accounting. I send it back to my accounting person. They see what I changed, and then they send my message. And then they see the what happens, right? They see the success in the client breaking through. And it's an incredible aha versus me just telling somebody what to do in delegation. Do you hear what I'm saying? Delegation is a problem. You are the hub. You will eventually delegate too much and you have no peace again. Don't build yourself a prison. Don't listen to any of the books about delegation. It's poor leadership. Okay? Think about building leaders up in the world. So then within 3 days, guess who's handling those credit card or those people who want to back out their commitments, those integrity issues? Well, now what happens is the second part of the training plan is you now send me the emails with what they said and how you answered it. And guess what? They're almost always perfect. So within 1 week, I'm out of the weeds. And I can feel rest assured that you are loved, coached, and held and not made wrong. Because that's my culture of what I'm committed to creating. So I wouldn't even know what my culture was unless I banged my head up against the wall with the problem. So know that every problem, and if you haven't seen this in the challenge, we've talked about this and seeded it and taught it along the way. And repetition is what gets it to sink in. So as you're looking at the problems, instead of being frustrated, pissed off, angry, blaming, making other people wrong, making yourself wrong, as in our leadership program, we say, it just is. It's neutral. It's just what happened. How are we going to fix it? And if somebody else can't fix something in your life, you need to design a plan for it and execute. Know this, it's going to take 1 week or 2 weeks out of your life to solve any problem. And if it takes longer, that means somebody's either incompetent or you have not done what it took to show them how to do it correctly. Okay? So how does this lead into next week? We need to relieve you of the things that are not your priority. So I want you to ask yourself, what would be fun? Go in the chat right now. What would be fun? In fact, you know what, Suzanne? I want to reward a couple people $200 for blowing up the chat today. It's Saturday. You're here. Let's be engaged. I want to see you thinking right now. Okay. So Suzanne, look on the social channels, everything, the Zoom here. Let's see who's thinking. Okay. Who's actually doing the work. And it's worth me showing up here on a Saturday morning with you. Okay. So what would be fun for you to do next week? I choose fun because it's often the hardest thing. Okay. So what would be fun for me is my mother is in San Diego. She flew in last night. So I'm going to see her like tomorrow afternoon. What would be really fun is to go walk the beach with my mom and my cousin. That would be really fun. It would also be really fun to take them for a mani-pedi. And what would be really fun is to sit in a circle with them, like sit on the couch with them and share with each other for 5 minutes what we love most about each other. That'd be really fun. And try and outbeat each other. I do this with my son. Like, I love you for this, I love you for that, I love you for this. And we do this on the way home from school, and it's real, you can see it on my face. It's genuine fun. It fills you up. So that would be really fun to take what I do with my son and do it with my cousin and my mom. Okay, what would be fun? Notice that doesn't take a ton of time. Notice I would enjoy reading. Awesome. What else would be fun? Is reading fun, guys, or is it soul? I love reading too. I don't know if I'd call it fun, but I do love it. But I don't know if I'd call it fun. Okay, so I'm just going to challenge you on the fun a little bit. What would be fun? Like, it makes you laugh. Reading is really lovely. I love reading. What would be fun? Let's get out into some fun, right? What would be fun? Okay, dancing. Okay, that'd be fun. Biking would be fun. Dancing. A lot of you guys are saying dancing. Look at these chats light up, guys. Like, this is great, right? What would be fun? Some of you guys need to go read the chats, just figure out what would be fun, because you haven't had fun in so long that you've just been like kind of living, right? So go look at the chats. What would be fun? This is so good. So I'm going to encourage you not to put reading. Okay, I'm going to encourage you to keep going, like something that you would laugh. Like one of the things, one of the things I think that's, I'm pointing back there because my husband's back there. One of the things that I find really fun with my husband is swim training for triathlons. And even though we're not training for triathlons right now, I really have fun him kicking my butt in the pool, because I don't know. I still remember one of our last swim trainings, and I almost drowned in the middle of the pool because I was laughing so hard at my husband that I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm taking in water. Like I need to get to the side of the pool. But it was really fun, right? So what would be fun? Notice that's a moment, because I was laughing so hard, that I would like to replicate. So you have to design that next week. Okay, you need to design that. So now you know what would be fun. Write it down. Write it down, because you're going to design this over this weekend. Write down what would be fun. So it would take me 5 to 10 minutes to do that feedback, what we love about each other with my cousin and my mom. It would probably take me about 30 to 45 minutes, because the beach is in front of my house, to be able to walk the beach. And it would take me an hour to do the pedicure, maybe, 10 minutes driving back and forth, so an hour and a half. So now I have to allocate, because a lot of people put up goals, but they don't look at what time it takes to create that. Okay, so that needs to be allocated in your calendar. So write that down. What time is going to be around this that you need to allocate, and find these things. And I want you to put fun on first for next week, even if you already have a full calendar. I want you to go and architect fun in. Got it? Yes? Now, as a business owner, many of you guys are business owners, know that you do not have to just take weekends off. You could be I have business owners that take Sundays and Mondays off. I have business owners that take Wednesday off because their husbands have a job, or their wife has a job, and they want to have the same days off. You do not need to work a Monday to Friday work week if you're an entrepreneur. You can absolutely change that. So remember, you get to figure that out. We do the last Friday of the month is flex day for our executive team, which means it's actually mandatory for them to take off the last Friday of the month. And I look at it as they're losing if they don't do that. Like I'm like, I got a problem. I'm not giving you a promotion. I'm not giving you more money, even if you deserve it, if you cannot take off one day a week and figure out how to run your company, your division. You have a division. Take off one day a month to have a long weekend and go have fun. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not impressed when anybody tells me that they can't get ahead. I'm not impressed by that. I'm impressed by you thinking the way I'm teaching you right now and solving the problem. In 2 weeks or in 1 week, I'll have this problem handled, so that will be off my list. Now, some of you guys must let go of control. To grow your life or grow your income, you have to let go of control. I am the best salesperson in my company. Actually, that's a lie. My husband is the best salesperson in our company. Before my husband came along, it was me. I do not sell in our sales team. I have to let go of control. So I don't have the same conversion rates. Some of you guys are trying to squeeze every ounce and dollar out of everything when it's time to let some things bleed, as I call it. So you let some things bleed so that you can grow your life. Okay, so I love to take my son to school. And because I am quite intense in my life, I use that time to coach my son in how he's going to lead his day and how he's going to be a better human. It's my grounding. Do you see what I'm saying? And so in order for me to do my morning routines and do my focus time, I needed to let go of mornings with my son. I needed to. So I do pickup. I do pickup. And I don't do drop off. Because what was happening is I was superwoman. And superwoman gets martyrish. Superwoman gets resentful. And that is a poor leadership quality. That will show, my words will show where I stand. And so now think about where I stand also affects how I enroll you, how I enroll entrepreneurs to let me coach them, how you enroll people to come and work with you. If I can make a difference, I know I can. I know if you want to become a millionaire, that I can coach you. I got the plan to millions. If you want to hit it in 1 year or 3 years, depends on what you've already built. But I know I can coach you there if you'll take the coaching. I've done it. I've done it not with me, but I've mentored it multiple times. So if I know that, I do you a disservice by living my life in a way where I'm positioned, my stand is in martyr or resent. Because when I come to enroll you, when you go to enroll other people, I lose authority. Because in closed doors, I'm feeling like a martyr or resent. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, this is deep. And if you don't operate like this, then everything you touch on the monetization line of your week next week will fall apart. Now, as you solve some of these big problems you're dealing with, it will give you power. And when you have that power and you stand in front of people and now you're moving to monetize something, they can feel it. Can you feel it in me? Like, can you feel like, can you tell, like, you can tell if I'm doing this or not. You can tell. I mean, I have people listening on our team right now, my husband in the other room. I got a lot of people to call my bullshit if it's not real. You know, I have a lot of people. If I pulled Chris, our COO, up, he said to me the other day, he said, yeah, you know, you really let go of control. If I come in and control something, it means I don't trust you. And I don't trust you because either you're not communicating with me or I'm communicating and it's not landing. Do you hear what I'm saying? And I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go back in the weeds and I'm going to mentor again. And the mentoring works or it doesn't. Don't keep slamming your head against the wall. That's been one of my biggest mistakes that I've done inside my life, is I keep trying to fit a square peg through a round hole. Don't do that. Okay, so give yourself a deadline and move forward. Got it? Yes? Okay. Fun is on your calendar next week. You're going to design it this week. You're going to put it on your calendar. I'm going to design mine. Doing the same thing you're doing. I'll probably do it on the plane back to San Diego. Now the second thing is how are you monetizing? It is not okay to go through a week doing stuff to make money later. That stuff, do that stuff. That's working inside your life, inside your business. How are you creating money next week? Where's the plan? Where's the emails going out? Where's the text message going out? What's the plan? Now, the reason why we are obsessive about teaching how to build an email list and a text message list is because that keeps it in your power. I could just send a text message out right now and connect with a lot of people. Now, on social media, I don't have that same blessing, you guys, and neither do you. So you hear me say this, I love social media, but I don't love that I don't have control over there because I don't own it. I do love that I can send an email or a text, and if nobody opens the email, or they'll definitely open the text, but if they don't open the email, I'm going to tell you it's because I missed the ball. Because I know you all open up an email every day. Do you guys all open up at least 5 emails a day? Yes or no? Do y'all open up like 5 emails a day? Yes or no? Yes, and you picked those emails for a reason. Do you all get a text message in a day? I mean, maybe the odd person might not. Yes. Now, I don't even do my business in email. Like I do my entire business in Slack cuz email is so inefficient. But guess what I buy in email? I go to email before I go to a website because I know that the newsletters I'm subscribed to, I can type in Revolve, that's a clothing company that I love, and I can find all their subject lines. And I'm not kidding you. I'm efficient. I look at their subject lines to go right to the page that has the thing I want because their subject lines hook it, right? Like summer dresses or professional attire. You got to have this on your next trip. And I'm like, okay, I want to go buy. Now, if I don't want to go buy and I'm in my email list and my email box because somebody sent me something, there, I've trained everybody in my life to text me when they send me an email. Text me if you send me an email. And then I'll go look for the email. I'll search for their name. But do you know when I search for their name, undoubtedly, almost always, I buy something for my son from this little Jack and Jane store or Bambinos, which sell like $300 t-shirts for kids. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I am trying to unhook. I need to unsubscribe from them actually, because literally I end up seeing something that he's going to grow out of in like 2 months. And I just get it because I just love my little Zachy. You know what I mean? And he doesn't know. He doesn't care if it's from Target or Walmart or a secondhand store. He doesn't care. But mommy gets kind of wrapped up in it. And so, I end up buying something. This is why I want you to be an email. Do you know in the revenue challenge, you guys, true story, we sent out, this is what drives me nuts about people who are broke that give advice around email and text message. I'm like, freaking A, stop trying to take people off these things when Amazon, everybody is on email for a reason. You buy in there and we can control it. So we started sending emails at 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Do you know that my 1 a.m. is 14% open rate? Do you know that my 4 a.m. is 18% open rate? Do you know that my 7 a.m. is an 8% open rate? Now it will climb over the days, right? Just pay attention to that. Am I up at 1 a.m.? Everybody's so damn focused on creating multiple streams of income because people have taught you that, when you could create multiple streams of income by just creating an email list and sending out emails throughout the night. Seriously. I mean, so many of you guys already have what you need in your space, or you're really close to it to be able to be financially free, but you're chasing fame, right? Without even knowing it. I need to be on all these channels. Do you know that I'm advised by some of the smartest people in the social media world? And they'll tell you, everybody focused on one platform and got it massive, and then cross-seeded into other platforms. I just share this because I see it all the time. People making bad decisions because they're listening to everybody versus running your own week. How are you going to make money next week? I'm going to send out emails. I'm going to send out text messages. And I'm going to pre-record things they're actually done to go out. I know what's going out on Tuesday. I know what's going out on Monday. I don't know what's going out on Wednesday, but I know what's going out on Thursday. I know that I'm going to be teaching List Power Intensive next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Who's in that right now? Shanda. There's another Shanda on here. I love it. Right? I know what I'm doing. And I know what my goals are and what my intentions are. And so with that, I need to create a priority list. So what's your financial goal next week? But what you can't miss is, how are you going to generate that? And if you have a text message and email list, you're going to be a lot easier, because here's the thing. Funny enough, I was listening to Grant Cardone's 10X this morning. I'm just trying to get through his book because I always finish what I start. But I was listening to his 10X rule book right now. And this chapter 9 is amazing. Do you know why this chapter 9 is amazing? Because he says how much people underestimate how to get in front of people. He goes, everybody creates these goals. It was like an aha. Like everybody creates these goals. And in leadership, we always say, turn yourself inside out to create them. But he said it really well. And he said, they underestimate that you might need to talk to 100 people next week to make $2,000 if you suck at selling. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason why I focus with entrepreneurs to focus on building them an audience first is for exactly what he honestly just said. You know, some people don't like Grant Cardone because he's kind of a little bit like Trump in the essence of he pisses people off. You know, he doesn't necessarily have the best deliverability because he's so honest. And a lot of people don't want that feedback. But if you just listen to what he says, it's so honest. I'm talking about Grant. It's so honest because I listen to him. I'm like, even though you sound a bit like a dick, I hate to say it that way. Sorry if there's any kids watching, but he sounds a little bit like a jerk. What he's saying is exactly how I built this. And sometimes I think, God, maybe I need to be even more honest with people because I'll finish telling people you must build. Shalene Johnson has an email list and a text message list. Suzanne Evans does too. So does Oprah. So does Sarah Blakely with Spanx. So does Jesse Itzler. So does Bedros with Fit Body Boot Camp. So does Grant Cardone. So does Frank Kern. Do you know what Dean Graziosi told me? The number one resource for the income in his company. The list is king. And then you have all these, I'm going to say the word idiot. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it. Then you have these idiots out there telling you, I can't believe I just said that word, but I'm just like, you need this. You need this. You need to focus on this because imagine how easy it would be if tomorrow or Monday or tomorrow you set up, you're like, I'm going to make $10,000 next week. Okay, if I need to make $10,000, I need to sell 10 $1,000 offers next week. Okay, if I'm going to send 10 $1,000 offers next week, you back into the deal. Then so you start with that. I want to make $10,000 next week. I need to sell 10 $1,000 products. What would I sell for $10,000? Not important yet. How many people would I have to talk to based on my leadership skills, which is sales skills, right? Like how comfortable am I at making an offer? You know what I mean? Like the actual conversion, you know, well, I'm a little timid, so I might have to talk to 100 people to have 10 say yes. Or I might have to talk to 400 people. How many of you guys would be willing to clear your calendar? And if I could give you 400 people to talk to next week, you would do it if you knew for sure you'd make $10,000 next week. Who would do that? Yes or no? Just put me. Put me. I actually don't believe you. You know why? This is why I don't believe you. Because I can fill you up and most of you would complain that you've talked to too many people and you're exhausted at the end of the day. You're going to get hooked in the emotion. You know this. Am I being honest? You're already complaining about too much on your plate. And you're like, oh, you clear my calendar. I know, but I actually put more on your calendar. You'd be emotional and you would be tired. And you would let everybody in your life know how tired you are. And you'd make their life miserable. And then you're going to have fights with the people you love. And then you're going to be right about the fact that you are holding all the weight. And it's going to be a catastrophic breakdown unless you train yourself on the blessing of the privilege of the pressure. And when you solve the problems, you get paid. And then you go into overflow. But when you're leading already with, oh, this is a lot, you can't even do what I'm telling you to do. So that's actually how you do it. You literally sit back and say, how much do I need to earn next week? For what reason? Because I want to pay for my son's karate. I want to buy a new car. My car broke down. I would like you to go past that. I'm going to pay for the car to be fixed, and I'm going to take my mother or my grandmother on the trip of her life to Italy because she's never gotten to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, aspire yourself up. And then you just back in the numbers. Okay, I need $10,000 next week. Okay, or I need $2,000 next week. 2,000 is just as easy to make as 10,000. It really is. Because all it is you clearing your calendar to the priorities that are going to generate that. So many people tell me, I got all these things to focus on. But if I take your year-long goal and put it into half a, put it into half a year, you will by default get rid of all those other things in your life. If I take your year-long goal, make you create it in half a year, like really hold you accountable, coach you like I can coach you, you will hit it in half a year. You almost never hit it in a year unless you're very disciplined. You could be undisciplined and you'll hit your year-long goal in half a year. You just have to be willing to take the coaching. Then I need you to design your weeks like this. What am I doing that's fun? Fun can take an hour of your week. You are worth an hour of your week so that you're not resentful. And then how am I making money? Well, what is the money for? It better not just be to pay a bill. Because if that was enough, you would have already paid that bill. It doesn't inspire you. So you got to stretch for something that gives you goosebumps. You got to stretch for something that makes you feel important, feel powerful, feel amazing. Gives you goosebumps. Okay? And you should be doing this every single week. Now, if I want to make 10,000 or 2,000, I just think, how many people do I need to talk to? And I loved what Grant Cardone said. People just put up these aimless goals and they don't think about, how many people am I going to talk to? How many people do you have to get in front of to hit that money goal next week? Right? And I'm sorry to make it so crass because I'm assuming that you're going to give somebody transformation in an area. You're going to reward them. They're going to pay you, but you're going to reward them. I reward people with freedom. Okay, I reward people with freedom. What do you reward people with? And you got to do that. Make sense? So now here's the last thing I need to talk to you about. First of all, let me ask you, how many people can get in front of the number of people you need? Like if I told you you need to speak to 100 people next week, how many people can get in front of that 100 people? Put 100. Put 100 in the chat. If you can get in front of 100 people next week. Okay, great. So let me ask you another question. Put a P in the chat. Okay, stop for a second. Put a P in the chat if you can do that without a doubt. You can actually talk on a phone call with 100 people next week. Can you for sure talk to 100 people on a phone call next week? Put a P. Yeah, I'm seeing my clients. Many of you guys are my clients. It's powerful. Most people cannot. And I'm not talking about going into a Facebook group, because I just went into a Facebook group with 50,000 people and didn't make one sale. Didn't make one sale. 50,000 people. Not one enrollment. Okay, so can I own that as my stuff that I got to work on? 100%. I'm not going to give my power away. I'm not going to say the Facebook group sucked or they weren't this, or I'm never going to do that. I'm going to own my own power and say I could have done that differently. Just like I recommend you do. Do not give your power away. Most people cannot put 100 people on a phone call at all. And so they're dead in the water with a pipe dream. So here's what I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend you put a priority 1 on building your list next week. I'm going to recommend you put a priority 1 on building your text message list right now. If you have an email list that quote unquote is dead, I recommend that you go out and you actually offer something like $300, $50, $10 Starbucks cards or coffee cards or prepaid visas, $25 prepaid visas. for people to go get a pedicure, or manicure, or buy themselves a coffee for the next 2 weeks, or whatever that looks like, and go out and get that list engaged to be able to answer a question. And when they answer the question, have them put their cell phone number. And I recommend you call those people next week and tell them that they got the gift certificate, the prepaid visa. Why? I need you to get on phone calls with people. I need you to talk to people. I need you to risk loving people well. I need you to go out there and help people. Even if you don't know what you're doing, I guarantee you, if you talk to people, you will find something you can help them with. You need to ask them, like, what is it that they want and what are they struggling with? And then you need to make something up for some of you guys if you need to. But you need to get on phone calls next week. Every single person from this training alone should generate income next week, scared or not scared. But everybody better make a priority one that you are going to build your list. Now, who are my people who joined our List Power program? Who are my people who joined our List Power program? Put list. If you joined our List Power program, look at the chats. It's powerful. We have hundreds and hundreds of people. We have hundreds of people. We have thousands of people every single month out there in the world, entrepreneurs just like you, that are actually building their lists. And they can send text messages out and they can talk to people. Their families are not scared. Their families are not scared because they can go out there and generate income. This is critically important. So you guys who are brand new, we made an offer that is closing out in the next day or day and a half. It's closing out. And here's what I'm going to do. I teach a conversation that when you get on a phone call, it's very authentic, because I can't do the high pressure sale thing. It's not in me. It's very, very authentic. And if you do these 5 things, and Suzanne, I need you to keep track of anybody who jumps in, is going to let me be their coach and walk them across their next freedom line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a bonus today. And this bonus is, I threw it in last week, where I'm going to train a bunch of people on how to do that conversation. So you guys who already jumped in, you're good. So don't freak out. Okay. So it's important when you build the list to know how to send out a text or an email and to be able to talk to someone and help them. I mean, let me ask you a question. If you guys could spend 15, 20 minutes with me and I could coach you on a call to help whatever your problem is, would you be happy about that? Yes or no? Go in the chat. Yes or no? Yes. Well, believe it or not, people would love that with you. The secret is you have to really help people. And then if you identify them as someone who's a good fit, make them an offer. It's actually humane to do that. Now, I see how many people we make offers to and we don't. And I don't know where the number's sitting at right this second, but often it's sitting somewhere around 15 to 18% that we don't even make an offer to them because they're not a good fit. I tell you that because it's really important for you not to make offers to just anyone who is just not anybody. There are people that you have not a good chemistry fit with. Okay, we just let somebody go just the other day. It wasn't a good chemistry fit. So it sucks for them, it sucks for you. That's a no-go. You can tell that when you talk to somebody, right? You can tell if this is going to be a good relationship or a not good relationship. Yes. So don't be afraid to extend an opportunity to someone because don't get in the way. Okay. But be honest. So you are a celebrity when you build a list. I can prove it to you. I've helped thousands of people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people how to build lists. I do it every single month. But over the last 12 years, I've empowered a lot of millionaires. I've empowered a lot of families to not get divorces because money is not an issue anymore. I've empowered this. They've graciously let me coach them and dusted off the problems or the breakdowns or the failures from the past and let me go in with them. But they did it. And it's not complicated. But they also not just learned the list building, they learned this 5-step conversation. And when they learned the 5-step conversation, they were able to take their income to the next level as well as their impact. Some of you guys, $10,000 in a month is a huge breakthrough. Some of you guys, $10,000 in a week is where you're going. Okay. And so, but everybody gets to set a standard that $300,000 gets to be where you get to live, because this world is squeezing out the middle class. And so we need to get you above it. We need to get you moving into the upper class. And we can do that in a short period of time. This is not an income claim, but we have seen people go through a year long building off this list build. Meaning they build the list, they learn how to do this conversation. So if you're ready, who's ready to jump in that hasn't jumped in? Put me. Okay, who's ready to jump in? Put me. So I'm going to ask Fadi if you can put up the link. It's called Be Trained by Us, betrainedbyus.com. I'll train you next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every step you need to do to build an email and text message list. It's not good enough to just do email. We need to build a text message list as well. I'm going to show you how to, everybody who jumped in, I'm going to show you how to do this 5-step conversation. Okay, it's real simple. We'll role play it. We'll make sure that you're strong on it. Okay, I'll give you the replay of it. You can keep studying it. It's very, very simple. I'll give you a PDF that you have next to you. And every time you talk to somebody, you follow that PDF. It'll tell you exactly what to do and you won't feel crazy. You'll feel completely in your power. Fact is the actual customer or client will actually lead most of the conversation. You're just going to ask certain questions and you're going to walk them right across the line. I just ask you with this information, because it's powerful, to not sell people who are not a good chemistry fit or you can't help. Okay? Not a good chemistry fit, can't help. Just let them go. In fact, refer them to someone. Because you help them get to the next spot in the conversation, refer them to someone. I just said that to our team the other day. I literally said, refer to this person, refer that person that we're saying goodbye to this person. It's the perfect community for them. So just be that type of leader. I promise you, there is no shortage of money on this planet. It just is not. For me to win doesn't mean you lose. Okay, so there's no shortage of money. So you don't have to worry about letting sales go. You need to get an overflow of the right people coming in through your emails and your text message. You need the right people coming in, and then you need to know how to lead them. And I can show you on that 5-step conversation. Okay, is that powerful? So for today only, you guys who are brand new to us, we're closing this offer down. I sold this training for $3,000. Okay, so when COVID hit, we decided to go out there and to help more people. We sold this all last year, the year before, $2,000, $1,500, not $15,000, $1,500. And we helped a lot of people. And do you think they care that they paid more? No, they don't care, because they're on to making money. They're not counting pennies. They're on to making money. And so should you be. So go to betrainedbyus.com. On that page, you'll see that I will train you next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, virtually on a Zoom. You're going to have to clear the day with me. If you can't come, you can come the next month. I'm doing one. I happen to be doing one the next month. And so you can come the next month. But if you can come and not waste another month, we can get you rocking next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now be prepared to work, because we're literally going to do every step, because I don't trust you with love to go and apply what I teach you through my mouth in your home. The reason why the workshop is a workshop and we spend the day together. So I have people who are in different time zones, like Dubai and Africa. And they're just, for those 3 days, they pretend like they flew to California and they're on my time zone, but they never had to get on a plane. They just pretend like, I'm in California. I'm ignoring my family that's up in the day. I'm sleeping. I'm in California right now. Y'all just ignore me. And they show up, and it's powerful to see the results, right? And so Be Trained by Us, we're going to go through every step. You're actually going to do everything with me, and we're going to build your list. Okay. Now, realistically, people ask me, well, how long will it take for me to see the list build? So I'm going to say at least 45 days. It could be easily 60 or 70. And for some of you guys, you got so much going on, or you're just a hot mess in how you operate with love, it might take you 90 days. But just remember who you were before we met and how many years you've like been living without this strategy, and just be in the build with me, because everything changes after that. So on that page, I'll train you next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the List Power program. The reason why the link says Be Trained by Us is we kind of created something really remarkable. That is the list building training with me. But when you build the list, then the second thing you want to do is we want to take some money off the top and we want to multiply it. My friend Jason has been training me on cryptocurrency. Currently we are somewhere between 35 and 40% on my money. Okay, so I'm not getting that in real estate. I'm not getting that in a lot of other places. And real estate means I have to save enough money to put a down payment to get into the game. I see this as a way that we can get into the game, multiply your money, make money with our money. And Jason's very conservative. So he's going to teach us the ins and outs on a 3-hour workshop this month on the 29th, 28th or 29th. You'll see it on the page. Okay. If you can't come to that, we're happy to send you the recording. But if you can, obviously proximity is powerful. So we can ask him questions. He is who is advising me. I'm bringing him to my high level clients. I'm bringing them to you guys who go to betrainedbyus.com. Okay. So he's going to train us. The whole concept is if I can get a little bit of money in here and multiply it, it's going to grow faster than I can earn it. Do you hear what I'm saying? So now we got earning off the list. We got multiplying. You know what I'm saying? We got multiplying and that whole thing starts to go up. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm throwing in as a bonus today that if you jump in like now and stop overthinking it, stop holding yourself back, stop thinking that it's going to feel better if you think about it for the next 4 hours, because it's not. You're either going to talk yourself out of it or you're either going to talk yourself out of it or you're going to have 4 shitty hours because you're in this battle with yourself. You know what I'm saying? So just jump in. For the bonus now, I'm going to throw in the workshop where I'm going to teach you how to have this sales conversation. And I promise you, I have taught people who are so bad at selling, total introverts, how to create great income. How to create great income. One of them used to be on our sales team, is now one of our head trainers of the List Power training. I'm training you on this one, but she is one of the trainers on the List Power training. I taught her how to sell. She was an anesthesiologist. She left her job. I taught her how to do what I'm going to teach you, this five-step conversation. I taught her how to build the list, and she ended up coming to work for us. She built the list, she made money, and then she came to work for us. So with this, you also get 90 days with her. I mean, this is such a safe offer, you guys, I can't even tell you. Go to Be Trained by Us. I will teach you next week how to do everything. I'll give you 90 days with the home study program and Jean. Every week, 3 times a month, she'll get on a call. You can just keep asking her questions. I'll get you rolling. You'll know everything. But then it's nice to have somebody that catches you for the next 90 days who will just answer questions like once a week on a call. Okay. And put you in a Facebook group so you can study with other people doing it. I'll teach you the same thing I taught her, which is how to go from a shitty salesperson to an extraordinary salesperson in a non-weird way in my five-step conversation. And then Jason will show all of us, including me. I'm still learning cryptocurrency. I'm bullish on it. I think it's super smart. I wish I would have jumped in 5 years ago, but I took too long to process. So whatever, I'm letting that be spilt milk. I'm here now, and I'm definitely not missing the opportunity right now. I'll end on this. Go to betrainedbyus.com. Don't let this offer go by. I'll end on this. We were in our car service from the airport yesterday coming here to this hotel. And my husband and the driver were talking about how sad it is and a little scary that the children coming up in the world, their jobs have been replaced by artificial intelligence. They've been replaced. I actually think it's almost crazy to send your kids to school at this point because they need leadership more than they need school the jobs we're preparing them for are not there. They're just not there. My son will probably never drive a car, right? They're just not there. And they were having a conversation. I was just listening and I was just observing. You guys from my leadership program, I was accessing my supporter and I was just listening. And I was like, it's so true what they're saying. And they were saying, and the older generation is not getting out of the workforce. And so you have this interesting thing happening right now where people don't have jobs. And then you have, at least in America, our American government saying that we're crushing it in the job market, which I don't even know. Go talk to any recruiter on this planet, and they will tell you that they can't place people in jobs because they're making more money off the system than they are off the jobs. Like, we really need to start empowering ourselves because the information is so unpredictable out there. I don't know about you, but I don't know what to trust. I don't know what data is right anywhere, because I talk to recruiters and then I look at what the government puts out and these employment numbers. I'm like, and I'm hiring people, and it's just, the talent pool is massive out there right now. It's not a good time to be looking for a job because the talent pool is massive. But then there's another talent pool that can't get a job because, no, you can't get a job. They don't want a job because they'd rather work off the system. And then you got all these little tiggers growing up that aren't even going to have the job that we are educating them to have. I mean, it's a big hot mess out there. But all I know is we can just handle what we can handle right now, and that is build a list, learn how to make money by serving people. Let me show you how to sell, which is serve, like really serve. Let me show you how to lead yourself in a way that you're not worried about losing money. So let good people go to better people if there's a better fit somewhere else. And let's change humanity. Let's change humanity. Let's not put our head in the ground and pretend like cryptocurrency isn't going to happen. Let's learn it. Everything's learnable. Let's learn it. Let's get comfortable. We got comfortable with the dollar or the pound, the euro. We got comfortable. Let's get comfortable with, like, let's just do it, but let's do it together so that we're getting right information and we're surrounding ourselves around people who are thinking the same as we're thinking. And let's rise up together, you guys. So much love for you. I'm not going live tomorrow. I'm gonna be flying back to San Diego. You guys who jumped in to betrainedbyus.com, I can't wait to see you. I got your back. Hopefully you can feel that. I got your back. You can always message me on Instagram. Obviously, I'm going to be at a seminar today, but don't miss today's bonus and let me train you. It's a good deal. It's a smart deal. You got to learn how to identify smart deals and good deals. And I very rarely make the same offer twice. I haven't taught my sales conversation. It's probably been 3.5 years, maybe even 4. So it's going to be really fun to go and teach this again with all of you guys. So God bless you. Have a phenomenal weekend. Set up your week today or tomorrow. What's fun? Where are you generating money? How are you getting in front of people? Those 3 things need to be on the books. What's your declaration? What are you committed to? And I'll see you hopefully online, hearing about all the amazing things. Do not tag me. I want to be tagged on your success. I had one girl tag me and say she made $4,500 last week off one of the trainings in the revenue challenge. I mean, people are doing it, which means you can do it too. I'll talk to you soon, guys. So much love.